Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another Club America Career Mode video. This is episode 2 of our FIFA 18 series with the club, and a big one because you guys were heavily linked to the decision, and the Twitter poll was out, and Sebastian Giovinco won by a close margin. I believe it was a 36% to a 34% of Raul Jimenez. Of course, Dario Benedetto ended up with, I think, 17%, and other ended up a little bit dead last. But Sebastian Giovinco is the man, is the player to go. But I do have a bit of bad news to begin with. We do not have enough funds to go and approach to buy Sebastian Giovinco. Now, normally in other FIFAs, we would approach the team, we would negotiate, we throw out some numbers, but in this case, Toronto does not want to deal with us whatsoever. So, the only way to actually be willing to buy the player would to be to trigger his release clause, which is about $33 million, which was a little bit more than what we had. So now that I went to think about it, I was like, okay, maybe I go with the second best option, Raul Jimenez. But the club doesn't want to go and negotiate either. The only way to really go ahead would be to pay his release clause. Same goes as Dario Benedetto. So now here is where things kind of get a little bit tricky. I say, okay, I don't really want to go for Dario Benedetto. He was the last option out of the three, and maybe not the most ideal candidate. So I thought, okay, if I do go for Raul Jimenez, it would mean that we would just practically throw every single cent we have at Raul Jimenez, which means there would be no more potential signings for the rest of the transfer window for us. And ideally, I do need a striker. I do need someone up top to pair with Oribe Peralta, but I'm not willing to spend all my cash on that just of yet. So we're gonna play the second game of our preseason, get a little bit feel of other players, maybe see exactly what other areas we need to strengthen. And one of the areas that just popped in my head and right away was the fact that we needed a left back. There wasn't no real other natural left back in our squad that could definitely go and do what Samudio does. So I thought, okay, so we definitely need to buy a left back, someone potentially better than Samudio. And Samudio can just, be the, I guess you can say, backup for when we need to get a little bit into the squad depth. Another player maybe would be to bring in a center midfielder. Now, we did try to bring in Eddie Gutierrez in the first video. Things didn't go so well with between me and the manager, and decisions just weren't able to go through. So now we were gonna see, okay, let's see what this team is capable of. So in this match, I kind of wanted to get a feel of what situation was going on and what was what. So, 12 minutes in, things were going pretty good for us. A good header right there by Uribe gets into the hands of the goalkeeper, and, things were starting to shape up well. I think we have a lot of depth in the midfield. I think, we have the likes of Uribe, Guido, William da Silva, of course, Edson Alvarez whenever we need him to. We have a couple of youngsters that can play in that position like Paredes. But I feel like we need just one top quality midfielder that could kind of just come in, and because I don't really want to rely so much on William da Silva and Cristian Paredes to really just be like our out and out player, just in case there's an injury or there's a need to change tactics or something. I want someone that could come in and do the job very well, someone that maybe could liberate Edson Alvarez's position at times. And then as I talk, what a great goal by Oribe Cepillo Peralta. Just great movement. This team from Argentina wasn't really giving us that much of of a difficult task right there. Oribe Peralta does well to slot that home. Abajito, papa. And, right there, right then. And, we're up 1-0, and this is good. Our club captain getting on the score sheet. Definitely going to be a key center figure for us. I know I did let him go last year on FIFA 17 in the previous series. But, we're going to keep on to him. Hopefully he can score, a ton of goals. So, in the end of the day, hopefully he is our talisman. And talking about players in the midfield, look at that. Guido Rodriguez with an amazing opportunity, but scuffs the shot wide. But it was on his weaker foot. So, granted, he should have put that ball away. But, we'll give it to him. It's preseason, and these are what these games are for. Jerson Torres now on the ball. Now, he was a player that, did quite well for me. Not the fanciest of players. He only has like a 2-star weak foot. And then what about that shot right there from Uribe, the Colombian midfielder? What a strike. Absolutely amazing. And I think it's the best goal so far that we have scored. Only played one game, yes, but I think, other goals are going to be hard to top. And look, this is absolutely amazing. Just drives it. I think Uribe Peralta had a duck and cover because that thing was coming hot and ready for the goal. So, pretty much last minute of the match for the first half, and we do go up 2-0 at the half. So the squad was looking good. Things were playing out well. Jerson Torres, like I was mentioning, he was a pretty good player. He felt a little bit, sluggish on the ball at times, but I mean, he was pretty quick. You want him to be a little bit more, creative in the sense, but it is what it is. So moving on here, it's the 63rd minute of the match practically. We're going to get a corner right here. We're going to whip this ball in with Jerson Torres. Goalkeeper comes out flying, I don't know for what, and it's an easy header for the youngster Marin, who takes a bow after a beautiful heading goal. Looks like he just finds it, really. I mean, the goalkeeper's rushing out, blocks his view. The ball kind of just lands on his head, and, the Mexican youngster puts the ball into the back of the net. 3-0 now. We are up, and we are cruising. At this point, things seemed well. Things, kept giving me hope that maybe, just maybe, things would be all right if we didn't bring in that big name signing. But I also needed to know that, there was this squad is good in itself, but it lacks just a little bit of depth and just a little bit of more quality. I think you add 2-3 more players to this squad, and you're looking at a very good title contending squad. But talking about, I don't know, not really talking about anything, but, we concede a goal in the 75th minute of the match from San Martin in the 75th minute. What a mistake that really just was by us. Poor defending, poor marking. But, at this point, we were 3-1 up, and, I thought to myself, we're doing good. I think we have the opportunity to let one slide, and we almost let in another one slide in the 89th minute of the match. What that would have been for the closing embers of the match, but they still had the ball. They still had an opportunity, but easy as pie for Jimenez, who was in goal for this match. I did a little the rotation. I brought in a couple players, but it really felt like a good team. It really felt strong, and I liked everything that was going on in everything here. So 90th minute of the match, last seconds to go. They had a pretty decent shot. Jimenez as well to capture it. Gets down and low, and the match ends. And that is it for the game. Fans go crazy here at the StubHub Center in Carson, California. We shake the hand and we say thank you very much. That is 6 points. And talking about release clauses, looks like someone triggered Luis Amador's release clause. Now, of course, if that does happen, the team has every right to talk to that player. You cannot do anything about it. So here is the kind of kicker out of everything. So I went to the squad hub and I went to go check what players have release clauses. And to show you guys, here are the players. Marchesín has a release clause. Not too happy about that. Jonathan Leon has a release clause. Oscar Jimenez has a release clause. Luis Amador, as we know, has a release clause because it was just triggered. We have, a bunch of players that really have some release clause. You guys can see right there, Bruno Valdez, Pablo Aguilar, Edson Alvarez, I believe does not. No, he doesn't. I think Carlos Vargas does, and I'm pretty sure Miguel Zamudio doesn't. No, he doesn't. Guido Rodriguez does have a release clause for some odd, crazy reason. Carlos Rosell also has a release clause. Diego Lainez has a release clause and a very, very low release clause. He is an absolutely talented player, someone that in real life speculations go that A lot of big European clubs are looking into him. So I thought to myself, okay, we need to get the contract talks. We need to get things going. And I thought to myself, alrighty, if we can somehow manage to just get the release clause to go higher, then I'd be okay with that. So basically, this is just me talking and negotiating with Diego Lainez. There you can see smiling. Diego Lainez's agent right there. We are able to bump the release clause to about, I want to say 5. I put the release clause to about 6, and I mean, that's pretty much it right there. They do come back. They say no, they want to keep it at 5.1. So I thought, okay, it's fair. It's a lot more than what we had before at 3 point something. And, Diego Lainez looks happy. So now we're going to offer him, I think we're offering him 15.2. We're offering a little bit more than what he's worth, and a little bit of a signing bonus, something cheeky for him to say, okay, definitely we're going to do so. And submit the offer, tell the guy, and he basically says that he wants little less money than what I'm offering him. So I said, okay, I'm gonna accept it, and we're all good. We're all good. Diego Lainez will stay for another 4 years, and his release clause is now even bigger. So hopefully we can keep him. Hopefully no one really tries to come in, and we're definitely going to try to reject all bids for Diego Lainez. He is going to be a crucial player for the series as it progresses, as it goes on. And here you guys can see more players. Luckily for us, Cecilio Dominguez does not have a release clause, but I mean, you have the likes of Silvio Romero who do have a release clause, and then Oribe Peralta, fortunately for us, does not. Darwin, of course, he does, as you guys saw on your screen. So that was just a little bit of something I wanted to show you guys, just because this is a new system that they're implementing in the FIFA career mode series, and I thought to myself, well, it is what it is. So then I thought, okay, look, here are a couple of players that we're gonna try to sign besides the big name, and it was gonna be Sandoval, Reyes, or Gonzalez. And I thought to myself, okay, I really wanted to give you guys the signing that you guys wanted, that you guys voted for. And I thought to myself, okay, well, we don't have the funds for it as of now. And rather to drag on the video longer and try to do it next season or next year, I thought to myself, why don't I just get a financial takeover? That means not only will we get more funds, it means that we'll be able to pursue a little bit more players, and financially we'll be a little bit safer. So it was nothing too crazy. I thought to myself, well, I've never really done this in a career mode series before. I never do it at all. It's there. Why don't we take the advantage, and why don't we appreciate it? We're going to have a lot more funds, but it does not mean that we're going to go off and, buy Ronaldo or something. No, we're going to try to keep it realistic. We're going to try to keep it simple. But that way, financially speaking, we kind of have the wiggle room to pay, for example, Giovinco's release clause or Raul Jimenez release clause, someone, with that high caliber, and then we can definitely go on and do the regular transfers as one would do with the other players. But there you guys can see our release clause, our funds do go up, and you guys voted for Sebastian Giovinco. So Sebastian Giovinco is going to be our main target for this starting season, and we are going to trigger his release clause, and we are going to negotiate right away with him and his agent. So let's see if we can get Sebastian Giovinco to put pen to paper. It would be absolutely amazing to bring him into the squad. An absolutely amazing player, as we saw last season, and let's just try to keep him happy throughout this whole negotiation. It's the agent really who you gotta keep happy, because it seems like he's the one that delegates for his client. So it started off by saying what was it that his role in the contract was gonna be. So I thought, what, okay, we're gonna give him a crucial player. And then I thought, okay, I'm gonna try to get him for 4 years, which I thought that reaction seemed that it was pretty fair. But apparently it didn't seem so. He wanted to do a 2-year contract. So I said, okay, let's merge and meet down the middle. 3 years, I think that's a pretty good length for the fact that, Giovinco is 30 years old. To have him until 33 and possibly renegotiate, that'd be pretty awesome. That'd be pretty amazing. So he agrees to the 3 years. So now we're not going to do a release clause. So, they were pretty happy on that. And, we were going to move on, and we were going to, just talk cash wise what we were gonna willing to offer Sebastian Giovinco as his pay. So here you guys can see, I'm trying to do the wage and the signing bonus. I wasn't trying to go off too much, and I wasn't trying to give him too much of money. We kind of have to keep it realistic. Even though we have all this money available to us, it doesn't mean that we should go all and spend it on just one player. So we go a little bit back and forth. They say what we give them isn't enough, that they want a little bit more. They want a little bit of the signing bonus. But at the end of the day, we meet grounds, and it's a fair price. It's we aren't overpaying for him in the sense of his wages. Whether or not his release clause was a little bit more than what he's worth, I'm not too sure. He's gonna have to prove it out on the pitch, but he was just an absolutely amazing player in FIFA 17 when we brought him to the club. Let's see if he's able to do the same for us in FIFA 18. Now, for those of you who voted for Raul Alonso Jimenez, do not get discouraged. He is a player I'm definitely going to be looking to bring in. Hopefully, maybe next season. Rio Peralta is going to get maybe a little bit older. Maybe we need someone to come in that can do a better job. And, he's definitely going to be a player that we're going to be looking out for. But here you guys can see, I'm going to show you guys Sebastian Giovinco. The man has arrived to America. His release clause was triggered, and we were able to get a good deal for the guy. So there you guys can see Silvio Romero. Not too happy that he's on the transfer list. He does have a contract that is expiring in 12 months from now. We could negotiate for another contract, but I thought to myself, okay, let's keep this in perspective. Maybe we can even use Silvio Romero in a transfer negotiation. So we have Sebastian Giovinco, our first signing of the club within the mix of everything that's happened. We've actually brought in a player for the season, an absolutely amazing player, if you ask me. Has been running the MLS circles around him, and now to be able to have him in the squad, well, it's absolutely amazing. So I'm gonna move on here to the last preseason game of the group stage for us. It is against DC United, and we're gonna sim it. We won, that's good. And then Luis Amador's transfer talk actually broke down. It seems that whatever was going on didn't suit him, so he decided to stay. And okay, until we get another transfer offer, we'll keep him. And then we get a transfer offer for Edson Alvarez from Querétaro, which I kind of laughed a little bit because there's no way Edson Alvarez is going to leave the club. Well, at least not for Querétaro. If he does end up leaving, it's going to be for abroad in Europe. So in the meantime, we're going to keep simulating forward. And I thought to myself, okay, we have Sebastian Giovinco. Now let's see what we can possibly, afford. This is our squad in the meantime. So I thought to myself, okay, let's see, what can we do in the meantime? So while I was thinking, I'm going to sim this game, I didn't really want to bring too much gameplay into this video just because I wanted to get some of the transfers going because, the league starts literally right away. It's crazy how fast the league starts here in the career mode. You don't really get that much time to really do a transfer series. So I thought to myself, okay, let's not try to digress too much with just game after game after game. Let's kind of get a little bit more movement going. There you guys can see right there Sebastian Giovinco's face in the poster alongside with his other colleagues in America. So there you guys can see Oribe Peralta's next to him. I don't really recognize everyone else because they don't really have a generic face, but absolutely amazing, looks absolutely perfect, and it's great. It's great motivation. It's a great thing to see. So there you guys can see we're gonna do a bit of training only because trying to bring up and boost Marin, Lainez, Diaz, and Marin actually is the one who goes up all the way to a 60. So the kid's actually been improving as time goes by, and I just thought to myself, okay, let's keep the ball rolling here, and we have an opportunity to really bring in another player. So I thought to myself, okay, we're going to leave the strikers off aside, and we're going to try to bring in a player that we really desperately need. And there is one position that we desperately need, and it is a left back. And it is Luis Reyes, who is most likely going to be the player that I end up trying to go for. There you guys can see I also added Gouveia and Aguirre to the short list. Gouveia is on loan, so there's no way that we could possibly buy him. And Aguirre, well, he's someone that could play in the midfield and is also versatile enough to play as a fullback. So he's definitely a player that we can definitely look into. He's young and he's got a great potential. And then, so like I was mentioning to you guys, Luis Reyes is going to be our main target for this. And I thought to myself, instead of kind of dragging things on a little bit more with the negotiations, I'll use the delegation to see exactly how that process actually goes. So I told him not to spend more than about 5.3 for Luis Reyes, and just kind of let him do his thing. We're in the final, quite coincidental, in the North American All-Star Trophy preseason tournament. We do end up winning, and it is Silvio Romero who scores yet again. And it looks like in the preseason, the guy was scoring for fun against these opposition sides. They weren't really the toughest of teams, but he was getting goals and he was in form. So that's something to look out for, and that's something to definitely be proud of. And, he's kind of making a case for himself. Whether or not we keep him, I'm a little hesitant. I mean, he was great for us last year, and, a little piece of me says, maybe keep him. But, he's not been performing in real life. And in the game, he isn't really the same, Silvio Romero that we've come to know and love when he scores those type of goals. So I thought to myself, okay, we'll leave it at that, and we'll see if someone comes and triggers his release clause or literally wants to negotiate a price. So right here, you guys gonna see we do get a transfer offer for Carlos Rosell. So I thought to myself, okay, instead of negotiating, I'm gonna let the delegate take care of this as well. Kind of just put it off to the side so we don't get anything. We don't get too side distracted. And so I thought to myself, okay, we get another offer for Carlos Rosell. Looks like he's been quite a busy man. And, I thought to myself, let's do the delegation again. There's no reason why for us to get mixed up into all of that. So I thought to myself, okay, once we do that, we can probably focus on a little bit more of this transfer saga. Who is it that we want to buy and who is it that we want to get? So this new system is a little bit tricky at first, kind of to understand everything, whether you're doing things right. Have you scouted everything? It's a little bit of, you learn as you go. So it's fun though if you like the whole, debating delegations, those face-to-face confrontations. And I thought to myself, okay, I really wanted just to showcase and be able to focus on pure signings this video, and then of course we'll get on to the gameplay as things go and things progress. So here you guys can see the delegations do actually come back, and he does tell me that they accept the offer. We are going to sell him for a little bit more than what he's worth, and at the end of the day, a little bit more money never hurt anybody whatsoever. Luis Reyes, although is still in the process, it looks like that negotiation's taking quite a while, but it does look like things are progressing pretty well. If not, we would have gotten a caution from the delegate. But either way, Carlos Rosell looks like he's gonna be going sometime soon. Looks like his representative and him are talking transfer talks with one of the teams, and then we'll have to wait to see whether or not he goes or he stays. So at this point, I thought to myself, let's go back to the transfer hub and let's try to find and get one more player. I thought Eric Gutierrez doesn't look like he has that X anymore, so it might be a possibility that we can go on and try to get him. As I was explaining to you guys, Govea was another one of those players that I'm interested in, but he is on loan. Eric Aguirre, another great potential candidate who maybe is the answer. Ponchito Gonzalez right there, he does have a pretty big release clause, didn't want to trigger that. And then of course Gael Sandoval, a pretty quick and agile winger, someone that has loads of potential and experience already in the Liga MX. But I thought to myself, is a left mid really what we need? I mean, we have Sebastian Giovinco who can he can play on the left. We have Cecilio Dominguez, we have Diego Lainez, we have Gerson Torres, so we have options in the meantime. It looks like the left mid is not going to be a position that we're going to be too bummed about, and I could even play William Da Silva if the worst case scenario comes. So I thought to myself, okay, Jael Sandoval probably not the player to go for. So I thought to myself, okay, let's try to approach and buy Eric Gutierrez just one more time. If the opportunity comes, hopefully we can definitely get the player. So I click on it, and to my surprise, we're able to go in and start negotiating with Pachuca again. So I thought to myself, okay, let's not be too crazy about it. And I thought to myself, okay, should I offer money or a player swap? I thought to myself, I could offer Silvio Romero, and he wouldn't make the biggest dent, but it would be ideal, But I thought to myself, maybe he'd be great for another offer. So I thought to myself, let's keep him. I know I'm saying I thought to myself a lot. I'm so sorry for that. But I thought I'd go in with a 12 million bid. They actually rejected it and they said they wanted 14.9 million. I thought to myself, wow, they want a lot. So I thought, okay, let's try to find some middle ground here. So 13.4 doesn't seem too crazy out of this range. The sell-on clause is going to be 8% just in case when we sell Eric Gutierrez, and if we do. So in the end, they kind of want to meet in the middle. They want 14.6. I said let's try to even lower that down. Let's try to keep it at 14, but as low as 14 as possible. And I throw in a bid of 14.2 with a 5% release 5% sell-on clause, and they accept that. So now we are able to talk to Eric Gutierrez and his representative. So there you guys can see they both sit down, and we're gonna start. And they want to know what his role is gonna be. And I thought, what? It's going to be crucial. This guy is 76 rated. He's young. He's got potential and he's got talent. There's no reason why we should keep him on the bench or give him a role that is going to be a little bit less realistic. So, in the end of the day, I gave them that. They accepted it. And they were happy to say that they did not want a release clause, which I was ecstatic about. The fact that we don't have to, have that worrisome fact that, this great potential is able to possibly, leave whenever a team just wants to trigger the release clause. And, I was happy with that. And I was actually trying to see something. Would he be willing to lower his wages for, I don't know, maybe a little bit more of a signing bonus for something? But he wasn't really too triggered for it. He was willing to go down, but not more than 24.5. So I thought, okay, let's go a little bit lower. What about 22.5? And we'll increase the signing bonus. Let's see whether or not they take that. He's not quite happy, but he is going to sign. And there you guys have it. Another signature for the team. It is Giovinco and Gutierrez. So far, the two players that we have signed for the upcoming season, and our first game is going to be against Querétaro. What excitement, what fun. And I just wanted to play around with the squad and show you guys exactly how things are going to look like for the meantime. There you guys can see Giovinco and Gutierrez fit right in right away. And I'm trying to, keep this as realistic as possible. So we are going to be playing with the 9-9 rule, meaning there's only 9 slots for extranjeros. That means players that are born outside of Mexico, and only 9 spots. And the other 9 have to be filled by Mexican-based players. So whether that be in the starting 11, in the substitutes, it doesn't matter. But 9 players from Mexico do have to be involved in the squad day roster. So we do have, I believe, 4 Mexicans playing in the field at the moment. Not ideal. We want to bring in a couple more. And if we're able to bring in Luis Reyes, that would mean that there's 5. So now we don't have to drop so much, extranjero. So it's kind of a win-win situation, and that's what I was trying to go for. It's kind of hard to be able to drop, Oribe or Ibarra or Silvio Romero. Even Silvio Romero in his tough situation, he's still a great candidate for us to bring him off the bench. So this is what we have so far. This is what we're going to go with. And if we can get Luis Reyes by the end of the video, it's going to look a lot more sweeter. He's going to take Samudio's spot. Samudio's then going to jump off into the reserves, and that's pretty much what the squad's going to look like for the season. We are going to, tinker with the squad a bit here and there. Formations, tactics, who knows. Whatever brings us the results is what we're going to go with. So far, I like this formation. I think it works, and, we're going to have to wait and see. So we're going to advance it. We're going to see if our delegate has any more information for us. And we actually get a transfer offer for Gil Buron in the mix of things. And, they're actually willing to pay for a pretty good amount for Gil Buron. So I thought to myself, okay, let's accept it. Why not? Why keep the guy here? He's not really gonna get that much playing time. He's not really my preferred player, and in the end of the day, I'd probably want someone a little bit better than Gil Buron, and I'd probably bring in someone a little bit better. So I'm gonna accept it, and he's gonna be able to talk negotiations with the club and whatnot. And I thought, okay, let's go to the transfer hub. Let's see. Luis Reyes at the moment is yet still to sign a deal with us because, of course, the delegate's doing all that stuff. It looks like right now the bid is at 4.1, and I'm kind of happy with that. It's not, ideal. I would have wanted to keep it maybe around the 3s, but I mean, as long as we don't go over the 5s, I think that's still a good bargain. He's been an absolutely amazing player for the past season. He's proven that, and not only in the national team, but as in the league as well. And hopefully we can get him. And our delegate does come back with a bit of good news. He has finalized the deal with a 4.1 million offer. So now we're gonna go in and we're gonna negotiate with him, Luis Reyes, and his representative. So here you guys can see the representative actually comes in just demanding things right away. He wants his client to be important. He wants him to be at a 2-year contract. I say, no, look, we can meet down in the middle. I want him at 4, but we're gonna we'll give him at 3. So he wanted at 3, and so he accepts that. And now they want a release clause. I wasn't too happy with this, so I wanted to, maybe just kind of jump it to a 7.1. But they said, you know what, look, we're willing to go a little higher, 6.6 for a release clause. I said, okay, it's fair. It's not ideal, but it's fair. Now they wanted to talk transfers and wages, excuse me, and they wanted to give him a lot of money. I know he's jumping from Atlas to America, but doesn't mean that he's able to just absolutely boost his earnings like that, almost double of what he was making. And I try to negotiate with them, and I try to tell them, okay, let's see, maybe you want to go back to 14, and and I thought to myself, okay, what they're offering me isn't too crazy, 17.5. He's not really, getting paid as much as, for example, Giovinco. But, he's done pretty good. And he accepts and he signs. And those are your 3 signings of the season so far. Sebastian Giovinco, Eric Gutierrez, and Luis Reyes all will be sporting the Club America jersey for this season. I'm very ecstatic, and I'm very, very excited to be able to bring you guys this 3 absolutely amazing players. There you guys can see right here, Samudio is going to be dropped to the reserves, and it is going to be Luis Reyes who takes his position. Absolutely amazing. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed that. Been quite a struggle having to negotiate with all these agents, all these transfers. It's a little bit more wear and tear this season in FIFA 18, but it's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of great work, and hopefully you guys enjoy it, and hopefully you guys are excited, because I know I am for the most part. I can't wait to see what Giovinco and Gutierrez look like on the ball, and Reyes, how well defensively he's gonna be for us. So at the end of the day, I'm happy and I'm ecstatic to see how this team works, how this team performs. So 3 transfers, I think have found a pretty good amount. I wanted to bring in 3 at the most 4 players, and in the meantime, I'm not really going to be doing any movements. I'm going to wait on you guys. Let me know in the comment section down below, who do you guys want to see come play for America? We have the funds to bring in 1 more player, I think, with a pretty good, decent potential and stats. So let me know in the comment section down below whether you guys enjoyed the video. How do you guys think the season is going to go? And let me know who you guys want me to bring in, for example, say deadline day. So I'm gonna give you guys till then, and until next time, take care.